to Sunday, which we took care of San Diego State, played well. I thought the guys battled all day. Then leading into the last game, which was a little disappointing, we did good setting up runners, setting up innings in the first half of that game. I feel like we were a hit or two away from really breaking that thing open, but then it just went dead. Tough way to end the weekend right there, really. But I was proud of our guys. I think we're going to be in a great spot moving forward, moving into this next weekend. A lot of guys with a lot of confidence. Some young players got their first taste of some top of the order at bats, some big time at bats. Just the experience we gained from this first weekend is going to be great for us moving forward.
What do you feel you guys got out of that Vandy game, especially? I mean, you guys faced some pretty high quality arms in that one. What do you feel like the lineup kind of gathered from that game?
Yeah, just knowing we can take down arms like that, and later in the year, and when conference play kicks up, I'm sure we'll look back on this game, on that Vandy game, and just know that we did take down a top arm, like you said. I think that just gives the group some confidence. But it wasn't like anything crazy either. Like we knew we had confidence before that game, knowing like we have a good group of guys, we have our solid lineup, and we think we can show down with really anyone in the country. So, yeah.
What's the emotion of that night? I mean, obviously everyone's mourning passing of Greg Sharp. Like, did it feel like more than a game when you guys won? Was it a different feeling? Kind of maybe just describe your perspective on that.
Yes, Sharpie was very close, like, to this team, to the community of Nebraska. It was tough for the guys to hear it. He had some great impact on some guys on the team, and I would say, yeah, playing for him was like emotional, like, right, but it was a baseball game too. Like it was tough though. Yes.
Strikeouts a concern for the team?
It's a tough question. I don't really see strikeouts as a concern. You go look at college baseball right now. There's a lot of strikeouts happening. The game's changing a little bit. Obviously, we want to compete with two strikes. We want to move the baseball when the game asks us to, whether that's getting a runner over, getting a runner in, which I thought we did pretty well. We do need to limit the strikeouts a little bit, though. However, I don't think it's a major concern, though.
Were there some young guys that impressed you this weekend that you just saw them in a game setting?
Yeah, I mean, one that sticks out to me, Max Budenbeck. He might have not had the best weekend he can have, but if you go look at all of his at bats, he's battling, seeing pitches, seeing 8 pitches at bat. I know he knows he can do better. I do too, and he missed a few pitches like we all did. I mean, opening weekend, haven't seen arms outside that much, but he just competed and hitting that 2 spot for us, and I thought he did great. So.
How much grief do you give him for slipping after that home run there? You guys are all going up to.
Oh yeah, he's good. Yeah, that was pretty funny. That was a funny video, but it was just something to laugh at.
When you're batting leadoff, I mean, what's kind of your mentality when you're digging into the box? Like, what? It just seems like that role is very comfortable for you. Why is that?
Just batting leadoff. I know my job is to get on base, kind of set the tone for the game. However, with that being said, like you said, like trying to be comfortable. Just seeing, you're the first guy seeing the pitches. You're the first guy kind of seeing what the pitchers got that day. Just that comes from just doing my work before the game starts. Just knowing some of the tendencies from the starting pitcher, and just listening to our coaches who have a game plan for us, and really just attacking that game plan. But really just seeing pitches and just making sure to get on that heater as soon as I can. And when I do that, I'm normally pretty good up there at the front. So.
Any more questions? Thanks, Caden.
Thanks.
How would you kind of assess your first start of the season? What went well? What are you looking to build on?
I mean, going in pitching, knowing you're facing Vandy, everybody wanted to play for them as a kid. Everybody knew who they were, but we didn't look at them like that. We knew we could beat them, and we knew we were better than them. And I think just following the scouting report what coach gave us, and everything worked from there.
How were you able to kind of settle in after that first inning? I mean, you had the lead, obviously, but I mean, what kind of started working for you as that start went on? For you?
Yeah, like you mentioned, I got punched in the face in the first inning. I think freshman you would have folded, but I think that's what I gained from playing in the summer ball is just like maintain the fierce mentality that I bring to the game throughout the rest of the innings.
Can you talk about just kind of your growth as a pitcher and a player, and kind of maybe where you're at now versus where you were this time last season?
I mean, yeah, last year I was kind of I would baby it a lot. If I threw a strike or I threw a ball, I would just be like, oh, thank God they didn't hit it. But this year, yeah, I grew in summer ball, especially from some of the coaches down there. They taught me a lot, and just getting in a routine mainly was the biggest thing for me.
What's the thing now for your next start that you're working on? Is it velocity, stamina, certain pitch?
I think just maintaining what I've been doing. I think that's what I do best, and yeah.
When you went out last summer, I mean, what were you kind of hoping to get done out there? Because it'd been kind of a rocky first year for you.
Yeah, it was definitely a rocky first year. I think adding more strikes with my off-speed pitches. I mean, I had the fastball. I know I could throw a fastball. It was just throwing the changeup and curveball and hitter counts was the main thing for me.
What did you think of the pitching in general? The other guys and how they were able to contribute.
I mean, it's great. It can always be better. I mean, we know that. We walked away too many guys this weekend, too many free bags, too many hit by pitches. But yeah, I think a lot of the guys that you saw that you think that struggled, I think they should have a lot more in the tank. So it'll be good to see this next weekend.
How do you kind of carry that as a pitching staff from kind of what you did this past weekend into another good team that you're going to face this weekend?
What'd you say?
How do you carry the good things that you guys did?
Oh, yeah. I mean, just like we can't hang our heads on all the walks and stuff like that. I think just moving forward and not worrying about the past and just taking one step ahead, one game ahead.
Is that like first weekend stuff? We walk a few more guys maybe than you guys are used to.
I disagree with that because last year, I mean, we had Brett Sears went 7 innings. I don't think we had a walk until like the 18th something inning of the year. So yeah, it was just something that happens. We weren't finding the zone as much as we'd like. So.
You ever question yourself last year?
I don't know if I question myself. I'd question myself a lot. I'd go home and be like, what am I doing wrong? Why am I doing this? Just that. But yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot to build off of that first start, but in terms of your confidence, like you said, you were questioning yourself last year. What does that go into in your next start?
I think just bringing, like you said, I have a lot of confidence, and I think that whatever coach calls, I'm going to throw it, and I trust the defense behind me. We have a great defense behind us, and I mean, I don't think we had a single error this entire first weekend, and that's really good to look at.
Any more questions? Thanks, Ty.
Thanks.
Figured I'd start off and not one for opening statements very often, but felt like today, obviously with Greg's passing, a lot of emotion over the weekend, and just for the team, for me personally, and I know a lot of our guys. Obviously, our thoughts and prayers are with the Sharp family, and just knowing that we're better off for having known Greg and having a chance to be around Greg for many, many years, and just his impact that he had on all of us, I think, is something pretty unique and pretty special. So we didn't just lose somebody that was there and called our games. I mean, he was part of our family and part of our team, and I know our players felt the same way. So thinking about Amy and the girls and the rest of the Sharp family right now, and I know our guys want to dedicate the rest of our season to Greg, much like we did last year when we found out the news. So,
Even though it was obviously pretty heavy over the weekend.
Yeah, I think so. I think you kind of those things happen. You go one way or the other with it, and our guys were determined to honor Greg, and we talked about competing in a way that would make him proud, and he was proud of us all the time. But I think it was certainly gave a little extra juice. Not that you need much on national television against a team like Vanderbilt, but I think particularly that day, you could really feel that presence there.
Is there anything tangible you guys are going to do? Maybe wear the Greg Sharp patches or anything else?
I think we'll look definitely. We ordered some more patches so everybody could have them on their hats. Maybe something in the ballpark. I think there'll be maybe another couple of opportunities at home to pay tribute to him. So,
how's Tucker Timmerman doing? And is he available this weekend? What's his situation?
No, so he's gonna need surgery. Some pretty bad stuff going on there, breaks, and he's going to have to go in, and they're going to do some extensive stuff, and they can't really do anything until the swelling goes down. So saw him today. He's in good spirits. He can see out of his eye now, which is a major improvement from where he was, but we'll be without him for an extended period of time.
You expect at some point this season?
Yeah, he'll be back. He'll be back. But you never really know what the recovery is going to look like because it does involve the eye and, some of that stuff too. So the way I understand, he could have some vision issues just initially after the surgery, but he should be fine. And certainly it's something that he can kind of keep his arm moving a little bit, to stay in shape somewhat that way. But anything that puts him at risk right now, he's not going to be able to do anything. So, hopefully we can get him into surgery next week. That's the plan, is the end of next week. But if the swelling subsides substantially before then maybe we can get him in earlier and then obviously start the recovery earlier. Yeah.
Do you experience anything like that as a coach? I mean, obviously Shane had his jaw broken, but
I can't recall. It was an odd because the result looked like a line drive. And seeing the replay, obviously it was 106 off the bat, but it was straight into the ground, and I think it just had that weird top spin on it. I don't know that I've seen one like that did that much damage as a coach. Yeah, it was a rough deal for Tuck.
You guys have a 3-game series, obviously, this weekend.
Right.
Do you go Walsh Brockett? Is it how do you kind of determine that, especially when they both had good opening starts?
Yeah, we were kind of talking about that in the office today. They both are worthy of a start. So yeah, there's some decision to be made there. Obviously, one of those guys would slide to the pen, and as we start playing midweeks, you're going to need 4 starters. So I think that gives you some stability there. Hopefully, is kind of what we're searching for on those Tuesday games where you can. I know there's some games that we have Tuesday, Wednesday, but where you can just know who's starting and you're not kind of just trying a bunch of different guys out. So I think either way we go, I mean, you're talking about a guy who had a 7-inning shutout and the other guy had 6 innings, 1 run and pitched great. Brockett was awesome. yeah, we'll kind of decide here probably in the next 24 hours.
Trainer was out. I guess when you guys went and took Rocket out, was it like a blister or something, or what was?
Yeah, he just kind of felt just a little zing. I mean, nothing like bad. It wasn't a blister. It was just kind of sometimes you can kind of on the end of your fingers just kind of get some numbness. Like I said, hopefully nothing serious. I don't think it is. Our trainer doesn't seem to think so either. He hasn't thrown a pin yet though. So we'll see how he's at today at practice.
Another, I guess, kind of minor thing, but you guys swapped Sirianni and Hartvell
Yeah.
on the bases. What was kind of the thought process, and what are you guys hoping to get?
Yeah, I think just part of it is that Harv is a recruiting coordinator, so there could be times. There was a lot of times this fall where he was on the road recruiting, and it's kind of hard to have your third base coach and offensive coordinator gone, So I thought it was kind of a natural fit. Mike's done it before. Harv just wants to do what it takes to help the team win. So I just think it was and Mike was coaching the hitters last year, primarily, and then Harv was running the offense. So I just kind of wanted to marry those two things together. Thought it would be from the recruiting side of it, and then also just from the side of, you're hitting an offensive coordinator, just being the same person, I think is, in my experience, I guess that's probably easier to come by that way. So, yeah, that's kind of the thought process behind it.
Does that show up on game days at all? Just in terms of who's on third, maybe someone's more aggressive sending a guy in. Is there anything like that?
I think we're all on the same page with kind of how we're going to do it. Obviously Siri last year came in and helped out with the running game and, some of that stuff. And, Harv can do the same over at first base. You got two guys that kind of see the game through the same lens and just on different sides of the field now. So not that honestly, for us, I know it's been very consistent, but it's not always that way everywhere where a lot of times the head coach will go out on occasion and go coach third, or people switch things up from time to time. So not a big change. And we are wearing the wristbands now too. So on offense, so it's just kind of more of a simplified deal. So it's not really that big of a change.
How do you feel like you guys did lineup wise through the whole weekend, I guess?
Yeah. Games 2 and 3, I was very happy. Games 1 and 4, not so much. I thought there was some empty at-bats in there at times. Obviously, the last game, we were 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position. That was the difference in that one. A little choppy, the two games, like I said, the 2 and 3, we were noticeably more aggressive early. Ironically, you get on base more with walks and hit by pitches when you are that way. So I think the first game kind of chalk it up to a little bit of jitters. First game out, maybe, like I said, the Vandy game and then the game against San Diego State. Thought we did a really nice job. So we were pretty consistent with who we played over the course of the weekend. Again, we're going to find at-bats for Robbie Bolin and Rhett Stokes, two guys that started on opening day. From time to time, right, like I write the lineup and, you win a game before, you kind of tend to stick with the guys that won. So that's part of it too. But we'll see some different combinations, over probably the course of the weekend because we're still not – obviously it's 4 games, but we weren't where we wanted to be offensively.
I talked about how he built confidence after settling in, after you said he got punched in the mouth against Vandy. How do you evaluate his performance, and what does he need to do going forward to establish himself in those later innings that he had?
Yeah, I just kind of – we talked about it in the press conference before the season. Just his maturity showed up in this game. I think his ability to bounce back after the tough start. We put up a 3 spot, and then just like that, they're right back in the game. Now, he had to make a big pitch to get off the field to keep it at 2. And you could just kind of see his confidence start to grow. And we, they were aggressive on the fastball early, and he was able to mix his pitches well. You start to see him becoming more of a pitcher, right? Instead of a guy that's just throwing the ball hard and, throwing it down the middle. He's starting to, mix on the right and right changeup. He threw 2 different breaking balls. He was able to land the breaking ball for a strike. Just kind of got him off balance because they were really, really on the heater first. It was just an amazing job by him. somebody who's kind of still finding his way as a Division I starting pitcher. He's going to take a lot of confidence from how he handled that outing.
And then what do you want to see from Mason bouncing back this next weekend?
Yeah, just finish your innings. I mean, I think that's kind of the story there is he just finish the innings. I mean, his stuff was great. Thought he was very, very sharp. Then he, had a 30-plus pitch inning. That's very uncharacteristic for him, and it kind of put us in a bad spot for the rest of that game. Chris still comes in not quite ready with the bases loaded, and his outing's a little choppy because of it. And then we have to bring Clevenger in with the bases loaded after that. So, Mason is going to bounce back. I mean, he's got the maturity, the veteran. He's been there and done it, and I thought stuff was awesome. I mean, he's touching 95 in the first inning. What he struck out 8 of the first 11 guys he faced. Just got to finish the innings. I mean, that's the takeaway there, and he knows that.
I feel like your bullpen depth was kind of what you thought it was going into the season.
Yeah, I think we don't win that game against Vandy, without those guys. And the first game got away from us a little bit, so we didn't use multiple leverage guys in that game. We knew we had kind of the full bullpen stocked, for the Vandy game. And Jalen wasn't very sharp, but he's going to be really good for us. And you could kind of see that veteran status there because even though he wasn't very sharp, he still made his pitches, when he had to, because he's been in those spots before. Obviously, Tuck was rolling pretty good. And then Broderick, came in and made it look pretty easy there in the ninth. So there was definitely some depth. Jasa, good to get him out there. And Clark only threw to one hitter, but was obviously very sharp in a big situation. So, yeah, a lot of bright spots there. Crazy in a 4-game series, still a lot of guys didn't pitch at all. We got some talented freshmen. We got some guys that we're going to count on, especially now with Tuck being out for a little bit, that we're going to be excited to see. And I think it showed up pretty well.
What are the challenges with Louisiana, and then I guess for you guys as coaches too, to line up against Matt Deggs? I know a lot of you guys have history with him.
Yeah, Coach Deggs, I have a tremendous amount of respect for him. Just as a baseball man, I've learned a lot from him. Basically, very, very, very influential on my offensive career. Just kind of getting started as a hitting coach and coaching third base. And my first experience outside of kind of Nebraska, right, was with him at Texas A&M when I was the volunteer coach. And so took a lot of stuff that I learned in those 2 years from him. Obviously a great family guy too, and he's done a great job with that program. But yeah, they're going to be they're used to winning. They have a Friday night guy that's an ace and an All-American. A lot of team speed. Going to have to defend the bunt game. They're going to definitely try to put pressure on you defensively. So just, how we attack them is going to be the same. We always go out there, get ahead with strike one, get the leadoff hitter, which we did a pretty good job of, and then just finish your innings when you got a chance. And so it's going to be a big challenge. Going to be chilly down there. The way I understand it, that field, the way it sets up, the wind blows out. It's backwards, so the wind blows out when it's a north wind. I think that's what we're going to have. So cold, relatively speaking, I suppose.
They're likely Friday night guy too. I mean, he's pretty elite arm. What do you expect to see from him?
A lot of fastballs, really good fastball, left-handed and tough to hit. I mean, doesn't give up much. We got to be on attack and be disciplined in the zone. And when we get our pitch, don't miss it. So it's going to be a very big challenge.
For fans who weren't in attendance on Saturday against Vanderbilt, what was the emotion like of the crowd there and just the team feeding off of that, given a really emotional day?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was 3,000 was the announced attendance. It was loud. Obviously, 3,000 means that 2,800 were Nebraska fans, pretty much, at least. So yeah, it was an amazing atmosphere. Just it felt like a regional game, just knowing that the MLB network is there and that facility is amazing. And it was an odd first game for us too, because the scoreboard wasn't working and there was just kind of an odd day, that opening day. So just to have the play under the lights on MLB Network with a big crowd, and so it was an amazing atmosphere, and like I said, it was certainly uplifting for our guys.
Any more questions? Thanks, Bill.
Yep. You need me for
Yeah.